Alright, so the name of this video is going to be, is being retarded a look or a state of mind? I did looked up a couple of, like I said, definitions of, certain concepts, ideas, ways, what I'm saying, whatever. And, when you are born in this world, at some point you're learning and you're going to start analyzing things. So, a lot of things start off with what you look like. The first thing you learn is shapes, and you know what I'm saying, the names of shapes and all that stuff, numbers, shapes, things like that. So once you learn all that, you start analyzing other human beings. You figure out you got a mom, you got a dad, you got cousins, you got sisters. Then you understand concepts like being an inbreed, you know what I'm saying, and everybody started looking weird. When I was a kid, I used to think that everybody was retarded. But in reality, I guess that's why they have diagnoses for people mental health, because I have like schizophrenia. Somebody came to my job today and I'm rejected with their personality because of just forming certain paradigms. Like, there are people that have natural ghetto attitudes, and then they really like that, and then on top, then some of them be trying to act articulate or speak with articulation, and it don't look right. Or some people are actually, kids, they call it a white mentality, right? You basically are a person talking white. You ever heard that? So, when I was a kid, growing up between, Fulton County and then certain places you go, and then headed toward the Cobb County area, there's different, types of people. I'm saying? It's like, just like the word Bugetto. It's different types of ghetto people. Some people actually are ghetto, and you can tell that they're actually like that. And some people are actually pretending to be ghetto. And I haven't formed too many paradigms. It's certain, like I said, growing up, it's certain things that I learned that just make sense to my mind. Like, I feel like some people be talking white. You know what I'm saying? Some people, like, I'm black, you know what I'm saying? But in reality, I'm just a human being, right? Just when you trying to be open-minded. Like right now, I'm working at a McDonald's. There's a white guy on the grill. There's a black guy. And, they seem articulate, but I don't know. I think, like I said, my female identity is toxic for me because, for one, I'm born under, I got a grandma and a mom and aunties and stuff. I'm born into a dysfunctional situation, and all the women really are being viewed in a certain aspect, and they want you to be assertive. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and it seems to me that, like I said, with manhood, I get agitated by certain people's personalities ring in my head, because I feel like I pay very close attention to people. You know what I'm saying? And I'll sit there and witness, somewhat personality changes. You can use things to your advantage. Some people actually do grow up in the ghetto and they get notoriety for it, right? But then some people grow up in the suburbs. It's all how you look at stuff. Like, I felt like when I was in Cobb County, I was really meeting people that were emo and stuff like that. So I was trying to be open-minded. Just like, the guy, just like people that listen to heavy metal and stuff, I grew up listening to the old school jams, Luther Vandross and stuff like that. And certain things I can't get into it, but I want to be open-minded. But it's not like I'm closed-minded, but I just feel very awkward about certain things just based off, the fate of my life. I was saying, like, I wonder, is being retarded a look? I work at fast food, and I'm a cashier, and you pretty much do everything. If you want to be a manager, you just be a manager, right? You just talk to the right people and see if somebody can come together and agree, well, yeah, you got managerial qualities or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Life is life. People want you to prove that you muscle somebody. Like, you need to be a security guard. I'm like, people have the wrong, stigma about me, and that's why I don't like my female identity, because in reality, I can tell that when I be at workplaces, niggas be like, I need you to be assertive and stuff. You know what I'm saying? A white mentality. I'm like, why be assertive? I'm like, I'm sitting here feeling like I'm being somebody else's personality. I'm just gonna be real. I grew up in Atlanta, and I just, after surviving so much dysfunctionality, I don't even feel like myself. But it's confidence that they looking for. These jobs are predictable. You go in, you have to pretend to submit to all these people, and it's really common damn sense. Like, I'm reading poster boards and I'm seeing, misspelled words, but I'm like, I read books at the library and I'm like, colloquialism justifies all that. And that's what I'm kind of trying not to reject myself. When it comes, you can tell when somebody is experiencing stress. When I was a kid, I've got a personality ringing in my head. Somebody used to call me a little pussy ass bitch, and I'm like, a lot of people used to, like, the niggas that I grew up, some of them look right being ghetto, and some of them didn't. I mean, this video is head left field, but my thoughts are sparse, and I just want to say that, like I said in one of my videos, I think that I seen a video saying that somebody averaging about 30 million people in the United States are illiterate, and I believe that's true, because in reality, I sit there and I work in fast food, and a lot of people really are off track the way they order and stuff, but it's all about how you put things, because some people be trying to beat the system, and I'm like, I'm doing the cash register, and I'm like, I know you just ordered this like this. So I guess they just, you know what I'm saying, people just trying you up because they want to see if you muscle. But I'm like, I don't care. Why life is not about being masculine. It's about making strides and accomplishments. See, all these men, they be trying me up, because I take it personally with some of these males that's randomly in my life, because I really felt like I was submitted to my mom and grandma, because they really were born within the realms of a paradigm where a bunch of random men were getting attention for no reason. And I'm like, some of these men are not being themselves to me. You know what I'm saying? You can tell, like, I'm from Atlanta, and I ain't necessarily a ghetto person, but you can tell from a spiritual. I can tell from a spiritual realm that I've connected with certain souls. You know what I'm saying? There are people that go around and think that certain people are on drugs and stuff, and it's all about the muscle. Like, I got this girl. I'm a drug dealer. I got somebody buying crack from me. There are really people that have reputations like that, just notoriety. I don't even know what crack is, but people be selling it. It's like, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like that song by Cassidy, I'm hustling, it be like, I can sell salt to a snug. I'm just all around person that has notoriety, and people know I'm muscle out here. You fuck with me, you shot with me or not. I don't understand that mentality. Like, I grew up in the ghetto, and I just feel like it's getting so old. But I mean, it's beautiful. We got rap battles and stuff. I really feel like people be trying too damn hard, but I guess they don't. It just depends. Like I said, I'm from Georgia, so if I go to the West Coast, I know people gonna have a different vibe, a different way of speaking. You know what I'm saying? A different. You know what I'm saying? People from California, they crunk dance. In Georgia, we get crunk. In the South, I go to Arkansas or St. Louis, they got their own culture. I don't know. It's just weird how people connect. I grew up around, you know, family members that seem to be. I just want to make sure that we're not being controlled, because, like I said, I'm a female identity, and I feel like I'm experiencing the idea of chauvinism. That's my downfall with all these people, because I'm like, in reality, in reverse psychology, just view me as a male. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really go to work every day, and I be fighting the urge to work out and stuff, because I've seen people form, buns, and I'm like, I guess it just depends on where you from. Like, I meet people overseas and they really like, well, overseas there really is billions of people, but when you come over here, you'll feel so at peace with yourself and you'll appreciate it more because it really is. When you go over there, it can get overpopulated. You will feel the overcrowdedness of everything. So I'm like, maybe I need to experience that, but I'm like, at the same time, I mean, I guess that's why there are wars and stuff like that because people really fight for territory and really a peace of mind. So yeah, man, just whoever your high power is, go to that power for me because I'm like, I really got a lot of stuff ringing in my head. I'm rejected with a lot of people personalities and stuff, and I'm just like, it's not even about being judgmental. It's about just being just reality. I grew up in Cobb County. I mean, I didn't grow up in Cobb County. I grew up in Atlanta, and then I moved to Cobb County, and then people really like what's growing up too fast. I'm seeing young ladies really thinking that I'm dealing with heteronormity, right? They think it's really normal to act a certain way because to show feminism. And I'm like, when in reality, when I was a kid, all y'all were horse to me, and I felt like y'all were growing up too fast. And I still feel that way. I will be a big kid for the rest of my life. I'm like, supposedly a person like Michael Jackson, rest in peace, or if he's dead for real, was supposed to have a whole damn roller coaster at his house. But I'm like, he probably built that shit himself. You know what I'm saying? Because accomplishment is what people want. Or he probably had people, usually when people deal with trauma, emotional, physical, whatever, they want their own space. So you have to figure out intellectually how to do that. That's what I had to figure out. I had to try to, understand the basis of flying a plane, take my chances, depending on the high power. If I just jump in a plane somebody else built and go on by my day, find some land and try to build my own place. That's what I would hope. I think anything is possible. A lot of people think that's not possible. You know what I'm saying? It's not common sense. You know what I'm saying? Goes a long way in the section that I grew up. Like I say, I can tell that I have brain stress, and I grew up like I really am, feel some type of way about certain people in my life and their level of ghetto-ness. And I'm like, I consider myself a Bugetto person. I'm like a mix. I'm like in the middle. I'm a suburban kid, but I'm from the ghetto though. So somebody, as I grew up around people that really embraced ebonics and stuff, and I'm like, some of these people I'm just not receptive of. So it just is what it is. I'm like, certain people don't have a certain level of class to me, but that's just how I perceive them. You know what I'm saying? I develop a certain perception about them, based off their nature and the way that they act. And I'm like, damn, this person seems more ghetto than this person. It's all about trying to have class. You know what I'm saying? And I guess maybe that's what a manager is about or running things. I think I've taken manhood too personally based off, my experiences growing up. I was being, rape, and I was just like, a lot of these little ghetto mixed looking niggas in my life don't look right. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of them ain't that ghetto, but like I said, I grew up around certain people and I just got a certain mind frame. You know what I'm saying? That fella on Yak Bad, if you look him up on YouTube, I was starting to write songs before I even met him because I'm like, when I think of somebody that's a nigga that's really surviving the ghetto, it's a nice piece of ghetto music to me. You know what I'm saying? Have these songs, Trick Daddy and all them folk, they ain't even really Coleon. They ain't even nobody special. They don't got all these views, but I think, like I said, I think that they should be supported because some of these people do have thoroughbred mentalities, and if they get around the right people, they'll appreciate life more. And I think that, at the end of the day, some people will be like, well, why would you eat this and eat that? Some people really are loyal to the things that they grew up on because at the end of the day, they have an emotional connection with it. You know what I'm saying? People be like, well, you could jog more, run more, people will be more receptive of you. I don't care about my womanhood, period. And that's what I be wanting people to know because I be seeing women and I just be laughing. I be seeing certain women and man, and I be like, that person really think that, you know what I'm saying, a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I be laughing at niggas and bitches. I'm like, manhood is not an impressionable thing to me. And I'm like, I really fantasize about being a male. I'm like, I really wonder what it would be like because I'm like, I used to sit there and record a lot of conversations and make a lot of cute, creative songs out of it. So, just being an intellect can be hard and stuff because I'm like, in reality, that's what people want to do, have fun, go to concerts. But some people take things way too seriously. And like I said, I grew up around certain people, and I'm like, when I went to Cobb County, I just felt like that was the suburbs, right? But there's certain areas that I consider the ghetto. I think there were certain areas in Marietta considered the ghetto. I didn't consider Marietta ghetto, but now I see there are people that really want to gang bang and view it as a ghetto. I view Austell as a ghetto a little bit because there were people, that when that project housing were torn down, a lot of people really did move towards a certain area. And I'm like, it's just funny that they sitting there trying to be, I don't understand like being from the projects and destroying the community. I never was that type of kid from the ghetto to myself. You know what I'm saying? Like my grandma grew up in Union City. We lived they built some nice houses off of High Point Road in Union City. And I'm like, I viewed it as the ghetto because they were sitting there destroying everything for no reason. And it really made no sense that they were doing all that. So with all that being said, I'm like, I grew up in Atlanta, and certain people don't consider it the ghetto, but I do because of my experiences. And I'm like, but I live next door. Like, my apartment is actually in a video, you know what I'm saying, about being from the ghetto and shit. And I'm like, I live actually in the West End. It's actually 2 libraries, probably 3. Shit. It's actually, you know what I'm saying, a library is in you. If you want to read a book, you read a goddamn book. But yeah, man, my womanhood is toxic for me. And like I said, people, I used to think a butch was just a lesbian, but I guess a butch is a woman that has masculine credentials. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I grew up a certain way.